Hello, welcome to the Reading Road Improvements presentation. This video is intended to give a brief overview of the project and provide insight into what's being considered for this section of Reading Road. As with all projects, we welcome feedback from our residents. So with that in mind, the final slide will have contact information for residents who wish to leave comments. So we have a very quick agenda for this presentation, and I'll try to breeze through this, being that it's a video that you can pause. But we'll go over the background here very quickly and then jump right into the proposed alternatives. So the background here, this issue goes back a little ways past 2020, but in 2020, the Ohio State University Studio class performed a study on this section of Reading Road to determine what residents' concerns were. The study identified speed as the #1 priority, with pedestrian safety at #2. And recent data from late 2023 show that the average speeds have stayed steady at around 35 miles an hour. However, when we're looking at traffic speed, the 85th percentile speeds typically what we're looking at when we're looking at design considerations. So with that in mind, the current 85th percentile speed is averaging around 41 miles an hour, which validates resident speeding concerns, and also it is a good reason to be looking at traffic calming potentially with this project. So we've gone through a very quick background. We will jump into design alternatives, but before we do, I wanted to touch on an issue that I get questions about relatively frequently. That is curb bump outs. Curb bump outs are they're used to provide shorter pedestrian crossings and to help calm traffic speeds. And on your screen here, you see a recent example at McCoy Road and Mount View Road. And essentially all this is the curb line is bumped out most of the time near intersections. And in this case, it took this cross section from 4 lanes to 3 lanes. So there's a couple alternatives that are going to have this as a potential option to add these in. Just wanted to point out what these were before we got too much farther along. So alternate one. Alternate one has 1 lane in each direction. We have bike lanes with a buffer zone between the travel lanes and the bike lanes. There is no turn lane in the middle of this cross section. There is no on-street parking. And one, I guess, good point for this one is that the buffer zones between bike lanes and travel lanes does open this corridor up to less confident cyclists. So we will look at pros and cons with each of these alternatives. For this one, pros, more comfortable for bikes. I think, kind of looks a bit more obvious when we see how wide of a space they have to travel here, but more comfortable for bikes. And then obviously this lane configuration would provide a degree of traffic calming compared to what exists out there today. Cons, there's no on-street parking. There's no 2-way left turn lane. And the mid-block crossings for pedestrians, they are better configured in some of the other alternates. So looking at alternate 2, this alternate has a 1 lane in each direction with a 2-way left turn lane. And we have on-street parking on one side of the street only. And in this alternate, that parking actually alternates sides depending on where you are on this corridor. And so from River Hill to Ridgecliff, the parking is on the east side. In addition to that, there are 3 areas on this corridor where center medians could be installed to provide some additional traffic calming. And there's only 3 locations because those are the only areas where we can fit these in without negatively affecting driveway access. So pros and cons with this one, obviously we get traffic calming with the lane reduction. The potential for medians would add some additional traffic calming. Those medians also provide for some better mid-block crossing options for pedestrians. And then we do still have parking in most areas. It might be on the opposite side of the street, but it does exist. Cons, so with that parking alternating sides, there are 2 lane shifts that exist on this alternate. One here on the north side, just north of River Hill, and then one on the south side as well. And these lane shifts might take some getting used to. So there's a con there. And then I guess on the parking side, while we do have it, that parking might be on the other side of the street compared to your house. Looking at the south side of alternate 2, so there's, again, on-street parking only on one side. And on this side, on the south end here, it's from Milton to Zollinger, and that parking is on the west side. Again, there's 1 median location potentially here, just south of Langham Road, marked there in red. And then where parking switches sides, we had mentioned before that the traffic is going to shift. And so I wanted to point that out here, highlighted in that blue circle, but between Milton and Ridgecliff Road, the traffic is shifting roughly 8-9 feet or so to accommodate that parking switching sides. Alternate 3. So we got one lane in each direction with a two-way left turn lane in the middle. We have a dedicated bike lane on each side, no on-street parking. So as with alternate 2, very similar, we have 3 locations where medians could be installed in the center. Same locations, same stipulations. We're not affecting driveways. So those are those locations on the north side. Pros and cons with this alternate: we've got dedicated bike lanes. Obviously, we're getting some lane reduction here as well compared to what exists now. So we'll get some traffic calming. And again, the medians provide an option for some additional traffic calm. Cons: there's no parking in this configuration, so there's that. And the bike lanes don't have a buffer and are at the minimum recommended width, so it's a little bit tighter for bicyclists. And then alternate 3 down here on the south side. Again, same configuration. We have still the option for median in the same location as we looked at with that previous alternate, but there's no shift in traffic here. There's no, still no down here, but there is the option for the median. Alternate 4, so we have one lane in each direction. We have on-street parking on the east side with the buffer zone between that parking and the through lanes. And we're showing sharrows here in this configuration, which would likely be the case. Pros and cons: pros, we have parking throughout the entire corridor, only on one side. And this lane configuration would provide some degree of traffic calming compared to what we have now. On the con side, that traffic calming effect is not going to be as much as we're seeing in some of the other alternates. We've seen relatively low parking counts out here. And with that in mind, this cross section, it could potentially end up being relatively wide open, similar to what we have now, which would not have as much of a traffic calming effect. Jumping in alternate 5 here, we've got one lane in each direction. We've got bike lanes on both sides of the street, with on-street parking on the east side. So in this configuration, we have a relatively narrow parking stall. However, it does butt up to right about where the recommended width is. And we do provide a buffer lane there between that bike lane and the parking stall to accommodate opening doors. Pros and cons: this alternate does include a little bit of everything on the pro side. We've got parking, bike lanes, and lane reduction for traffic calming. And this alternate does also include the option to include some curb bump outs at certain intersections that could have some additional traffic calming effects. Cons: with the low parking numbers, again, it might minimize our traffic calming effect that we would be going for here. And even though we provided this buffer zone between the parking lane and the bike lane, opening doors are still something that might be an issue out here. Alternate 6. So we've got one lane in each direction. We've got a two-way left turn lane in the middle, and we have dedicated parking on the east side. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Again, we're showing sharrows here, which is an option, something that we could have. Pros: we still have some traffic calming via the lane reduction. It is, it's a lane reduction compared to what's out there now. And on the pro side, we do still allow parking. On the con side, this does not provide any accommodations dedicated for bikes. We could provide sharrows here as we're showing. And then also, again, the traffic calming effect is not going to be as much as some of the other alternatives that have a bit more aggressive of a lane reduction. So this slide just trying to give a quick overview summary, a place where you could potentially pause and just see each of these alternates together. Did want to point out that of these 6 alternatives, we have 4 that we believe are going to be more effective at achieving the goals or helping address the concerns that the residents have expressed. And I've highlighted those here in a gold box. Those are alternate 1, alternate 2, alternate 3, and alternate 5. So that is it. So next steps. Design is going to continue through the end of 2024. Once complete, the final plans will be presented at a public meeting in spring of 25, at which point we will have that meeting with our contractor who is on board with this. We'll have an idea of scheduling for this construction season. And then obviously construction will follow shortly after in 25. So if you want to receive future updates on this project or provide any kind of feedback, you're more than welcome to. I've given some contact information here below. You can get added to an email address server list to be receive future updates on this project. We, again, always welcome feedback. So please, if you have any comments, concerns, send them to email address or phone number below. And with that said, I hope you have a great day.